Hello, viewers. Greetings to you and welcome to my live broadcast. Please, if you have any question, you can drop so that I will attend to it. Let me also know where you're watching from. Let me also know if you have questions as regards solar system installation, design, and maintenance. Thanks for joining my live broadcast. Please, where are you watching from? Please drop your questions. This question and answer session. It's a live broadcast. If you have questions, you can drop your questions. If you're having one or two challenges. Oh, okay. Mr. Deadstock, you're watching from Mexico. Mr. Sunday A. Adeyemi, you're watching from Kwara State in Nigeria. Thanks for joining my live broadcast. Please, if you have any question, please drop your question. Drop your questions and also let me know where you're watching from. Let me know where you're watching from. Mr. Oranusi Chigozie Kevin, you're watching from Lagos State. Thanks for joining my live broadcast. Mr. Sunday Adeyemi, it's like you have a question. Please let me know the question. This is a question and answer session. So if you have any question, you're free to drop. You're having challenge. Mr. Global Net ICT, you're watching from Lagos State. Thanks for joining my live broadcasts. I'm waiting for your questions. How are you all doing? Thanks, for joining and also watching my videos and helping my platform to grow. Mr. Okechukwu Victor, you're watching from Anambra State. Wow, thanks for joining my live broadcast. Mr. Deadstock, 24 volts. What's better, hybrid inverter or MPPT and inverter? Is it 24 volts inverter? What's better, hybrid inverter or MPPT and inverter? It depends, number one, on the quality of the inverter. If you have an hybrid inverter, everything is integrated. And again, the hybrid inverter will give you, the window. The voltage window is high, like Felicity 3 kVA, I think IVM 3024. You can connect your solar panels in series up to 500 volts. Your VOC, you can connect up to 500 volts and send to the inverter. But if you connect only inverter and charge controller, even if it is an MPPT charge controller, their voltage window is always about 150 volts, 170, 200 volts. Again, for the hybrid inverter, the power output, the rated power, solar power, PV power that you can impute to the hybrid inverter is high, up to 4,000 watts. But for the MPPT, if you are connecting it separately, that is, you're having an external charge controller. At times, you have, depending, 80 amps charge controller, 60 amps charge controller. I know their PV power input is most times limited. So if you have a hybrid inverter of high quality, depends on quality, it will give you that flexibility, and it is also light in terms of the weight. But if you're connecting the external one, all of them have their drawbacks. Like the hybrid, most times if they have issues, they always, from my own experience, it's always difficult to fix. Most times you need to change the entire board, if you are fixing the hybrid inverter. But and if one thing there is bad, it means everything will shut down. But if you have the external charge controller and your other inverter, if the charge controller is bad, you only need to change the charge controller. At times, maybe one component that is bad on the inverter, you just have to change it. But my experience with hybrid inverters, if something there is bad, you just at times you may end up changing the entire board, and it's always difficult to find somebody that will be able to fix it well for you. So what I'm saying is it depends on there are high quality hybrid inverters that they are very reliable, but they are expensive. You have Victron, you have SMA. These are powerful inverters. You have Growat, but they're expensive. Then you also have Felicity. Felicity is also good, and their customer care, most times if you send, they will be able to fix it well for you. So most times it all depends on what you want, the size of the system, the quality of the components you're using. Then you have Mr. Michael Anthony. My name is Michael Anthony, watching from Abuja. Thanks for joining. Option Sliper, Blackie, Global Net ICT. Can someone invite you for live chat weekly? You can invite me for a live chat, but that one you need to pay something because you'll be taking my time. So it depends on arrangement. That's what I'm saying. If we arrange it well, we can. Then Sunday A Ademi, how to calculate the duration of battery for a load of 600 watts. If you have a load of 600 watt and you want to calculate the duration, let me look for a jotter. You want to calculate how many hours this load will last. You need to factor in what is your system voltage. Let me know your system voltage, whether it is 24 volts or 48 volts. So you are having 600 watts. So let me know what is your voltage system. But so that we will not waste time, let's take, for example, you're using a 48 volt system and you have 600 watts. How many hours are you going to use this 600 watts of power? Or how many hours are you going to use it? Is it for 3 hours? Is it for 4 hours? Or is it for 5 hours? So let's take, for example, you want to use it for let's say for 5 hours. So you multiply 600 by 5. So you have 3,000 watt hour. This is 3,000 watt hour. You have 3,000 watt hour. If you convert it to kilowatt, it means you have 3 kilowatt hour. So the size of battery bank you need must be greater than 3 kilowatt hour or 3,000 watt hour if it is a lithium battery, because you need to factor in losses. You need to factor in maybe days of autonomy. If you want to take into consideration these days of autonomy, you have to factor in temperature, the inverter efficiency. So if you want to take all these things into consideration to know the size of battery bank you're going to use, okay, let's do it straight. If you want to know, the first thing is that you divide by your inverter efficiency. So if we have 3,000 divide by inverter efficiency of 0.9, you'll be having 333 watt hour. Then the next thing, you know that we have temperature losses. During charging and discharging, the battery bank will be losing a lot of power. So you need to take it into consideration. So we also divide by 0.9 temperature compensation factor. So if you divide this also by 0.9, you have 3,704 watt hour. Then this is now what you have after dividing by the inverter efficiency of 0.9, depending on the inverter you're using. But most of the inverters are good quality inverters for today in the market. Their efficiency is up to 90%. So we use a safety factor of 0.9. Some they are 85%, which is 0.85. So let's use 0.9. So we have divided by the temperature, whatever. So the next thing is that we are dividing by the DOD. This now depends on the battery you're using, whether it is lead acid batteries or it is a lithium battery. For lithium batteries, the DOD is up to 80%, which is 0.8. Some manufacturers will tell you can discharge their batteries up to 100%. Then let's assume we are using lead acid batteries. Lead acid batteries, ideally, their DOD is about 50, 60%, depending on the quality. If you have flooded batteries, you can discharge up to 70%. or up to 60%. Then let's take 0.5, which is 50%. If we divide, if we are using lead acid batteries, so divide it by 0.5, which is 50%, this will give us 7,407 watt hour. We have divided by the DOD of the battery bank. Then the next thing is that we are dividing by what's it called, by the battery bank voltage. We are using 48 volts. So if we divide this by 48, it will be 154.3, which is approximately 154 AH. So if you're using a 48 volt inverter, it means if you have a 48 volt inverter, it means you need 4 batteries, 12 volts, lead acid batteries that are rated 12 volts. You need 4 of them to connect them in series to give you 48 volts. Then the capacity in amps hour, you need a batteries that is at least 150 amps hour, or if you can't get 170, you can use 150 amps hour. But we have 170, 175. We also have 180 amps hour battery. If you connect them in series, you still have 48 volts. But the amps, if you connect them in series, 12 volts, 12 multiplied by 4 will give you 48 volt battery bank system. But the amps hour will remain the same, which is 154. So if you cannot get 154, which is difficult, but you can get 150 amps hour battery, between 150 amps to 170, 175, 160, 165, 180, you can make use of it. So we made use of 5 hours. So to sustain this load for 5 hours, 600 watts load for 5 hours. If you're using it for 5 hours, multiply 600 by 5. It will give you your daily energy consumption. Then from there, you can now use it to size your battery bank. So I don't know if I've answered your question, Mr. Sunday Ademi. Mr. Hema later, sorry if I pronounce your name wrongly. I am later from India. Hi, what's your name? I'm Justin and I'm from Nigeria. Thanks for joining. We have Mr. Michael Anthony. My question is, I want to purchase your book, but the process is not convenient. Is there another direct means of purchasing the book? If you are from Nigeria, you can purchase. I can send you an account details. You send money and you screenshot it and send to my WhatsApp number. From there, I will send you the PDF document. Mr. Zhang Gaming, what's your name? I'm Justin from Nigeria. Mr. Jack Football, what sort of stuff do you post? Okay, I do design. I train people on how to design, install, and maintain solar power systems. Okay, Mr. Deadstock, thanks for responding. English or Spanish? I'm speaking English. Sheyi Olubumi, please, I need a customer care contact of Felicity. They are different dealers. You can just type on Google. You see there, you can communicate with any of the dealer. Any company that you want to purchase their component, just go search them on Google, go to their website. You'll see their contact form or contact number. Send them either a WhatsApp message or send them an email asking them of their representative in your country. They'll send you all their contacts. From there, you can contact them. Hi, myself, Soya, you're welcome. Mr. Sunday Adeyemi, you're using a 12 volt system. A 12 volt system for that high energy consumption is not good. You have a lot of losses. At the means you have so many parallel connections, number one, and also your battery bank will be large, and you're going to use large size of cables. Your cable size will be large. You're having 600 watts. So depending on how many hours you're going to use it, you know, using a 12 volt system, I don't know, for me, I wouldn't recommend that, because at least either 24 or 48 volt system to reduce your size of cable, both from the solar panels to the charge controller to the battery bank, and battery bank to the inverter. Mr. Okechukwu Victor, does solar panel voltage high when it is on a cool temperature? Yes, temperature also affects the efficiency of a solar panel. High temperature, when the solar panel becomes very hot, the cell efficiency of that solar panel will drop. I will do a video on that using a thermometer to show you how temperature, increase and decrease in temperature, affects the efficiency of a solar panel. So when the temperature is very high, you see that the efficiency of that panel will drop. And there are two parameters that controls the power rating, the power output of your solar panel: current and voltage. So if the voltage, if the voltage is high, if voltage and current, any of them is high, the power output will also be high because they are directly proportional. So if one is increasing, the power, either voltage or current, any of them that is increasing, the power output will also increase. So that is why it is recommended that when you are installing your solar panels on the roof, you use a mounting rack. That is, you place the rack on the roof. If this is the roof, you place the solar panel rack on the roof like this. Before you place your solar panels, so that there will be a space between the solar panels and your roof, because during the day the roof will be hot. So if you place the solar panels directly on the roof, that will increase the temperature of the solar panel, and that will also affect the energy generation of the solar panel. So you always give a gap so that there will be aeration, there will be airflow between the solar panel and your roof. Mr. Sunday Ademi, you have increased it to 24 volts. Any voltage you are using, just use the steps I showed you, the method I showed you. If you are still not satisfied, check one of my videos. Check my videos, my long form videos. You will see the steps on how to size a battery bank. Use that step, use that method. You'll be able to size it. But the major thing is for you to get your daily energy consumption. And for you to get it, multiply your power rating by the runtime hours. How many hours do you want to use those loads? That will give you your total daily energy consumption. Mr. Emmanuel Okonkwo, thanks for your comment. Can a solar system operate without a battery bank? Yes, there are PV inverters. Then some countries, they have what is called grid-tie inverters. Those inverters can operate without you incorporating a battery bank. But the disadvantage or the drawback is that when there is no sun, you won't be able to have power. The essence of a battery bank, we have off-grid systems and we have grid-tie systems. The off-grid system is that you're completely off-grid. There's no power from the grid and you are not depending solely on the grid. So because you are not depending solely on the grid, you are depending on the solar panels to generate the energy during the day. So when they generate, the essence of the battery bank is for the energy to be stored in the battery bank so that you can use that energy when there is no sun. So if you have a PV inverter, a grid-tie inverter, that you don't have a battery bank, it means when there is no sun, the system will shut down because they won't be able to, the solar panels are not generating again. There's no sun. The solar panels depend solely on the sun. So when the sun is not there, they can't function. So it means the inverter would have to fall back to the grid to take power from the grid or from your generator to power your loads. So if there's no power from the solar and there's no power from your grid or from your generator, the entire system will shut down. But if you have a battery bank, it means you have a backup. If there's no power from the grid, there's no power from the solar panels, the battery bank will now supply the energy to the loads, to power, to run those loads. So you can use an inverter. There are inverters that you can connect solar panels directly to them without a batteries. Just like, what's it called? Your solar water pump. The solar water pump operates without the battery, but they only function during the afternoon, during the day, when the sun is available. So once there is sun, they start pumping. The ones that have, timers or controllers, when the sun, sensors, they have level sensors or level switch. When the sun is available, they will start, pumping. When the sensor detects that the tank is full, it will stop, pumping. But they only function during the day. Why? Because you just wire the solar panels directly to the controller, and the controller will be doing the work. There's no battery bank. If there's no sun, the pump will shut down. So that's the same thing. You can have that. You can have an inverter that will only power your loads when the sun is available. Then we have Mr. Michael Anthony. Please, can you briefly explain how to size solar power cable from solar array to charge controller to battery, battery to inverter, and inverter to AC outlet? I will only do that calculation when there's a board. I'm not having a board here. I'm working on a video on sizing of cables and breakers, your DC breakers, AC breakers, such protective devices. I will upload a video on that very soon on how to size cables. So it will be a very detailed video. Mr. Sheyi Olubumi, the cooling fan of my 5 kVA 24-volt Felicity is constantly rotating with unbearable noise at no load. How can I make it work intermittently at load carriage? Because the 2.5 kVA 24-volt DC I have doesn't do so. Most times it depends. There may be a fault or settings. If you are in Lagos, you can take it to one of their service centers. They will look at it. At times, the controller or the algorithm that is controlling that, because most of those inverters, the fan is supposed to come on when the system detects overheating, when the circuit temperature has increased and is becoming hot. That is when the fan is supposed to kick. It's supposed to start, and it will start cooling the inverter. But there are some inverters that they don't have that control. Once you switch on the inverter, the fan will be running continuously. Some inverters are like that. The fan will run like that till you switch it, you turn off the inverter. But if you know that your inverter have an inbuilt control that the fan will only come on when it detects overheating, but it's not functioning like that again, it means there's a fault and it needs to be serviced. Mr. Chigoze Kelvin, I want to know why the solar input voltage rises to 18 volt once my battery charges fully at 14.2 volts. Note, I use 150 watts, 21, the VOC is 21 volts and 30 amp charge controller. Does it have any negative effect on my battery? You have 150 watts. Let me see. You have 150 watts times 2. Are the panels connected in series or in parallel? You have 300 watts. Divide by 14.4. The 30 amp charge controller is okay. Then when your batteries are fully charged, the solar panels, the controller will no longer send a high voltage or high current to the battery bank again. It will maintain a float charge so that the batteries will not be destroyed. That is the essence of the charge controller. So when the batteries are fully charged, most times you will see that the input side from the solar panels, the voltage will, the one you're showing, the 18 volts is a maximum PV maximum power voltage. They call it a VMP, maximum power voltage of the solar panel. If it is a 12 volt solar panel, the VMP is always about 18 volts. Then VOC is about 21, 22 volts. So if it's reading like that, the VMP is what the solar panel will use to charge the battery. But once it gets to the charge controller will regulate that voltage so that it do not send high voltage to your battery bank. So it depends also on the settings you have on your charge controller, the float voltage, the boost voltage and the bulk voltage. Does solar panel lose power as they get older? I'm planning to get used solar panel. Yes, there's what we call, they will definitely be degrading. Solar panels will degrade as they are getting older. They will degrade. Their efficiency will be dropping. Most of the solar panels, their lifespan is between 25 to 30 years. So the one you want to buy, you don't know how many years they have used the solar panels. Secondly, most of the sellers or distributors who claim they are selling fairly used panels, at times they will go to the back of the panel, peel the label, and if it is a 200 watts panel, they will paste the label of 300 or 350 watts, and they will tell you this panel is 350 watts, which may not be true. So that is most of the disadvantages of buying a fairly used solar panel. The cost is cheap and it looks very attractive, but the overall or the long run, the performance may not serve you. So most times it's recommended as a starter or a beginner to buy new panels, buy them directly from the distributors. So fairly used panels, they are not too good because you are not sure of them. You are not sure of the quality. You are not sure of how many years they have used the solar panels. So if you are using them, it means they may not last long. And if solar panels are getting old, if you look at the frame, their frame round, the four corners, the frame of the solar panels, they will be looking yellowish. They will become yellow, showing you that that solar panel is degrading. Efficiency is reducing. Yeah, China panels are the best in the world. Yes, depending on the quality and the manufacturer. Everything is dependent on the quality. If the manufacturer is okay and the quality is okay, you're good to go. So I'm very grateful to have you all here in my live broadcast. Thanks for joining my live broadcast. I just decided to, have a little chat with my viewers, with my subscribers, so that if you have any question, because most times I just do the videos and upload, you will not have, the opportunity to ask questions and for us to interact one-on-one. But the live broadcast will, give us the privilege to interact one-on-one. You ask your questions, I answer. We also share knowledge. I am not I don't know everything. There are some things you may know that I don't know. So there are some components you have used that I have not used, maybe in your location or in your country. Since I'm not there, maybe in your country you're using different, components or whatever. We can share our knowledge. That is how we grow together. We grow together by sharing our knowledge together, sharing our ideas together. And when we share like that, we grow faster. But when one person decides that I know it all, there's nobody that is equal, where I'm not equal, I'm not their equal, I'm not their mate. I know everything more than them. That would be the beginning of that person's downfall. So I don't know everything. The little I know, I decide to share with you. Anyone you also know, you share. That is why there's what we call constructive criticism. Even if you want to criticize, it should be constructive. And you tell the person, brother, sister, why not this thing? We do it like this. It may be better. This is my own idea. And we try it. If it works, good. We move. We forge ahead from there. But when we decide that, I can't share my knowledge with anybody, I know everything about what they are saying, they can't compete with me, it is very wrong. So I'm also learning from you as you're learning from me. So thanks for joining. I'm very happy to have you in my live broadcast. I wanted to end, but let me just attend to these other questions and we'll call it a day. Mr. Emmanuel Okonkwo, if so, should the inverter be connected to battery input or output of the controller? Mr. Emmanuel Okonkwo, if so, should the inverter be connected to battery input or output of controller? You connect your inverter to the battery's terminals, just as you're connecting your charge controller to the battery terminal. You're connecting the battery. If you have a 5 kVA or 10 kVA inverter, their gauge, the cable gauge, is always large. It's about 35 mm. It's large, so you cannot even fit in the charge controller, the terminals of the charge controller. The charge controller, their gauge is because the cables you connect between your batteries and your inverter, depending on the size of the inverter, they're always large. They're always large. depending on the size. So you connect your inverter cable direct to the terminals of your battery bank, positive of the inverter to the positive of your battery bank, negative of the inverter to the negative of your battery bank. You also connect your solar panel, solar charge controller. You terminate it at the terminals of your battery bank, unless you have a bus bar. If you have a bus bar, there's a way you do the connection. There are different ways you do the connection, but connecting even the charge controllers that have load output. There are some charge controllers with 6 terminals. 2 terminals are for solar input, 2 terminals are for battery input, then the other 2 terminals are for load input. So you don't carry your inverter terminal and connect them unless it is a small inverter, a very small inverter like 100, 200, 300 watts. For example, if you have a poultry farm, I do that if I want to control the lighting in my poultry farm, because you can do that setting on your charge controller. You can set your charge controller to on the load, your DC load, maybe for 5 hours. Once it gets to 5 hours, the charge controller will shut down that load. Like, your what's it called? Street lights, your solar street lights that you're installing with this charge controller. The charge controller will control the light, the on and off of that load. So even if you want to connect that inverter to the output terminal, the load terminal of the charge controller, you have to check the power rating of that controller, the amps, the amperage of that charge controller. Then you check what the inverter is also consuming. The amps the inverter will be drawing from the battery bank. If it is high, if you do that kind of connection, the charge controller will shut down or the inverter will shut down. There's the way I do it, but I have to match it. I do my calculation, but there are small inverters. I use those small inverters just for lighting of few bulbs in a poultry farm. Hello, sir. I paid 4,000. I am Ajayi Temitope Olaitan. I have not been able to your material on guide to please. How do I get it since I have paid? Please, let me see if I can drop my number. Okay, at the end of this broadcast, I will drop my number. I don't know from which platform. Is it from seller or from because the PDF is 3,000, not 4,000. It's 3,000 naira, not 4,000 naira. So whether from seller or from Flutterwave, maybe after purchasing you're not able to download, or you did a transfer, but it's not 4,000. So you have to send the receipt to me out, or you can check my channel. You'll see my WhatsApp link. Click there. You can show me the proof and I'll trace it so that I'll send you the PDF. Please, I'm very, very sorry for that. I'm very sorry. I'll also drop my number so that you can contact me so that I'll be able to rectify it. Please, I'm very sorry for that. Mr. Shei Olubumi, I have existing dry cell battery for my inverter connection. Can I connect lithium-ion battery in parallel with it? No, you don't mix match batteries. Don't connect lithium battery with what's it called? Sealed battery or flooded battery. You can only parallel your lithium batteries. And even in terms of paralleling, you have to look at the manufacturer's guideline, whether those batteries or inverters, you can connect them in parallel. So you have to look at it. But for you to carry a lithium battery and connect with a lead acid battery or a flooded battery or a sealed battery is a wrong connection. You can destroy your components, and also it can lead to fire during charging and discharging. Those batteries, some of them, because they are not communicating, they are not compatible with each other. So those things can lead to fire outbreak and they are dangerous. So don't mismatch batteries. That's what we call mismatching of batteries. You're bringing in lithium battery to connect with a flooded battery, or connecting a flooded battery with a sealed battery. Their chemistry is different. Their design is different. So you can't match them together. It's not good. Please, sir, I want you to do video on protective devices. I will do. I'm working on it. I'm working on it. I will post it very soon. Thanks very much for joining my live broadcast. I'm very grateful. If you need my PDF on how to size a solar power system, check the link on my channel. You'll see there. You can either get it on seller if you want to get it directly, like in Nigeria. You want to do through transfer, bank transfer, you click the WhatsApp link. You can chat me up and I will send you the account details. I'm very happy to communicate and relate with you this morning. Thanks for joining. You have a wonderful day. And also thanks. I've been able to learn one or two things from you. When you ask questions, I answer. I'm also learning. We are still in the learning process, and we rub our minds together. Thanks very much for your audience. Remain blessed and do have a wonderful day.